All right, chapter 23, opening night at Cafe Independent. The dim light of an outside street lamp slipped through the front window of the bookstore, providing a flickering pink light. The light cast letter-shaped shadows so that the old name of the books of the store was spelled out on the spotless shining floor. All the old books that could be salvaged had been arranged neatly on shelves. Those that had pictures had been opened to provide decoration. Signs had been polished. One read children's books, another history. Some of the others read sports, animals, and health. The mice had constructed a long counter out of discarded book boxes. Behind this construction stood Radiator, the fat mayor of Mousetown. He was ready to dispense nectar, honey, and water from an array of bottle caps spread before him. Because of the grand opening, he was offering three kinds of cheese: green, orange, and white. Scattered throughout the room within easy reach were heaps of breadcrumbs, sunflower seeds, and alfalfa sprouts. The volume of the encyclopedia had been pushed into the corner in anticipation of the B-flat tires performance. Small tuna cans were already in place for Lungnut. Dipstick's bass guitar was there, so was Clutch's new guitar. Off to one side of the platform, Foglight was still working on the finishing touches to her poem. On the other side of the room, near the art section, Windshield was wiping paint onto the wall with his tail. As he worked, he kept trembling under his breath. Make the turning point a brighter yellow. Give the trend a more vibrant blue cast. Ragweed and Clutch stood in the center of the room. For the occasion, she had redyed the top of her head bright red. Her purple earring, which was newly polished, dangled prettily. As for Ragweed, he looked no different than he ordinarily did, though he had looked down his fur to a neatness that would have made his mother proud. He and Clutch were standing before a group of 5 grim-faced, muscular young mice, all of whom had volunteered to be security guards. "Okay, dudes," Clutch began. "You know we're here, what we're worried about. Do I have to, lay it out?" "Cats," the mice chanted in unison. "And, you don't have to hear it from me. They are no joke. So, you've got this awesome responsibility. You know what I'm saying? You all okay with that?" The mice acknowledged their understanding by nods and squeaks. "Cool. Now, Ragweed here will give you your particular assignments. Brake pad," Ragweed began, speaking to a particularly large young house mouse. "You'll be at the front window, checking out the street in front of the store. That's an awesome stretch out there, dude. Killer activity." "Hey, no problem," the burly mouse replied, squeezing his front paws so that his knuckles crunched audibly. "Spark plug," Ragweed continued to a young harvest mouse with large ears and bright eyes. "You take the back window." Excuse me. "You're the one who has to check out the alley window. You're the one who has to check out the alley. Listen for weird sounds, okay? Keep your eyes open for odd shadows. They can be something else. You know what I'm saying?" "I'm hanging right there," Sparkplug replied. "Piston, you and Seatbelt, a deer mouse and a house mouse, divvy up the back steps and the upstairs bolt hole. That's a really crucial place. So, like Clutch says, are you guys up for it?" "We can handle it," Piston said to the two of them. Finally, Bumper, you've got the basement. You can stay on top of the basement steps. Nothing but junk and an old sewer pipe down there. Even so, it has to be watched like the other places. You with me?" "I hear you," Bumper, a short-tailed grasshopper mouse, replied. Did I miss anything?" Ragweed said, turning to Clutch. Clutch shook her head. "Just keep your ears and eyes open to where it's at, dudes. I know you'll be wanting to check out what's going here and where the party is, but can't say it too many times. What you're doing is killer important. You let any cats in and you can nuzzle tomorrow goodbye. So, if you get tired or need to check out, hey, no problem. Just come to me or Ragweed here. But those posts have to be covered at all times. You know what I'm saying? Everybody cool?" The mice said they understood and scooted off to their posts. "Well, dude," Clutch said to Ragweed, "I think we're all set." She looked around the new club with satisfaction. Then she turned back to Ragweed. "Hey, have you seen Blinker?" Ragweed replied, "I don't know. He hasn't been around today, I guess. I guess he's just going to show up." "I worry about him," Clutch said. "Hey, dude, you really like him a lot, don't you?" Ragweed blurted out. Clutch eyed Ragweed. "Hey, he's way cool," was all she said before hurrying off. Ragweed, wishing he understood exactly what Clutch was feeling, watched her go. First mice coming in, Bart Breakpad bellowed from his ledge post on the front window. And indeed, the mice of Amberville had begun to stream into the club. They came alone. They came in pairs. They came in groups. However they came, they arrived in numbers. It was as if all the mice in Amberville felt the need to be at the cafe's opening night. The air was filled with great excitement. Soon the old bookstore floor was covered with a milling mob of mice, generating a bubbling babble of squeak and squeal. Groups of mice were crowding together to talk. Individual mice strolled about and gawked as they inspected the new club or looked on as Windshield continued to paint his wall. Clutch was very careful to center. Clutch was very much the center of attention. Ragweed could see her red hair bobbing about as she moved from group to group. She was accepting congratulations, even as she told them, or told anyone who listened, how the club name came to be. As the evening progressed, Ragweed remained in a corner, observing how things were going. From time to time, he slipped away and went upstairs and down, checking in with the security guards, making sure they were in place and attentive. "The better job you do, dude," he told one of them, "the better this place is going to be. Hey, face it, you guys are the most important mice in this place." Some 2 hours after the first mouse had arrived, Radiator worked his way to the platform. Once there, he sat up on his hind legs and looked over the crowd, rubbing his paws in satisfaction, nodding to first this mouse, then that, greeting most by name. "Hey guys, listen up!" He was completely ignored. The second time, he fairly brayed, "Can I have your attention, dudes?" That quieted the crowd. All eyes and ears turned toward the mayor. The only one who did not pay attention was Windshield, who continued to toil away on his painting as if no one else were there. "More purple where the mice are helping mice," he murmured. "As mayor of Mousetown," Radiator began, "it's my duty and pleasure to welcome you to the opening night of Cafe Independent." There was a raucous chorus of cheers, jeers, and squeaks. "There are any number of mice who have to thank, but before we get into all of that, I want to introduce Clutch's mother, Foglight. Foglight will read to us from the mouse epic she has been composing. Will you please join me in giving Foglight a Cafe Independent welcome?" More applause and cheers as Foglight, looking somber, marched across the platform. When she reached the middle, she paused, looked sternly at the upturned faces and whiskers, and began to recite her poem. She spoke slowly, enunciating each word with great care, using a free paw to provide emphasis. "From Cheese of Grass, Part 17, she intoned. "There once was a poetical young mouse who was considered a cantankerous souse, yet that the world never knew was that his fleas were more than a few. And until this house mouse doused the louse, no one knew he was really not a grouse." Thank you. For a moment, there was nothing but stunned silence. Then the mice broke into wild applause. Foglight, smiling and bowing stiffly, backed off the platform. Radiator returned to the stage. "Thank you, Foglight. Great poem. Thank you again. And now," he called out, I want to introduce the mouse who had so much to do with all of this. It's our own Clutch." Clutch leaped up onto the stage, wearing a grin as wide as her face, her red hair radiant, her earring bouncing. "Hey, dudes!" she cried out. This is an awesome moment, you know what I'm saying? Check it out." But the dude who is really the force behind all of this may be new to you. There he is, over there, in the corner, my tight bud, Ragweed. All eyes turned to Ragweed, who, grinning, waved at the crowd. But all this talk is not where it's at. I want to call the members of the B-Flat Tires up here, along with Ragweed. We're going to swing into a little Cafe Independent music. You dudes ready for that? "Yes!" the crowd roared back. Lugnut and Dipstick edged onto the stage and got ready to play. Lugnut set himself behind his guitar. Dipstick was primed to hit the drums. Within moments, Ragweed joined them out front and center. Clutch turned to her band and snapped her fingers. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Dipstick stroked out the rhythm with a wild flourish. Then the other band members joined in with a rollicking beat of joy. Clutch nodded and whisked his tail. Lugnut leaped up and down. At first, Ragweed hung back, head bowed, absorbing the beat. Then he stepped forward. In his low, husky voice, he began to sing. This old world is swinging on as it keeps on spinning round and round. The sun comes up and the moon goes down, but the dancing goes on and on. Hey mouse, what you doing tonight? Hey mouse, what you doing tonight? Well, come on down and be independent. Come on down and be independent. There was a general squeak of approval. The next moment the floor was crowded with dancers. They leaped and jumped and wiggled, and over again they joined the chorus. Come on down and be independent. Come on down and be independent. Clutch looked at Ragweed. Ragweed looked at Clutch. They grinned at each other. Is Blinker here yet? Clutch mouthed. Nope, Ragweed replied, and continued to sing his heart out. Here's a little picture. I'm singing. Alright, I was at another chapter.